Hello and welcome to Grant Writing Today. I'm your host, Rodney Walker, and I'm happy to have you one more time for a show that's dedicated 100% to talking about all things grants and grant writing. It's a show for new as well as seasoned grant professionals to keep your hand on the pulse of what's happening in the grant writing community and different things that you just need to be aware of. We want to make sure that you're informed, that you are in the know, and that you are continuously growing as a grant professional. In fact, on today's show, I'm going to be sharing with you some information on why every grant professional must, yes, I said must, change and grow in these changing times. I want to make sure that you're becoming better, and we're going to be looking at some ways to make that happen. As always, I like to share information with you about what's happening in the grant writing world. And I just looked up and saw that the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Now, just in case you didn't know, yes, they receive grants as well. And I like to share some of these because it's important to kind of know what's happening in the landscape of grant writing and in the grant community. One thing that's important today, that California Department of Fish and Wildlife, they released its cannabis restoration grant program. Did you know they had a grant program for that? Well, they do. Well, they have one for 2022, and they have a draft public land cleanup and remediation solicitation, as well as the 2022 draft watershed enhancement solicitation for public review and input. And it's really interesting. They talk about what you need to do in order to leave a comment, and they leave a website for it. That deadline is going to be, by the way, April the 26th. 2022 at 4 p.m. Now, what's interesting about this, just in case you may not be aware, sometimes grants will have these public reviews, which allows the public to have input into the grants that are going to be released. Why is this important? Well, it's important that you understand that these government grants, especially these federal as well as these local state grants. These grants are oftentimes coming from the federal government, which means that this money that's being spent are our tax dollars. Yes, your tax dollars, my tax dollars are what fund these government grants. And so that's why there's a review that allows the public to have some input on where these funds are being directed. Just wanted to share that insight with you, just in case you didn't know some of that was happening. I think it's important to just know how all of this kind of works as it relates to grants and some of the interesting things that are going on out there. But let's move on and talk about something I think that's going to be important for you personally as a grant professional. Now, I believe that every grant professional must change and must grow, especially with things changing so quickly. AI is here with artificial intelligence. Things are changing in that direction. We have right now many grant professionals working remote at an all-time high, especially as a result of what happened with COVID. So why should you grow? Why should you be growing as a grant professional during these times as a grant writer? First, if you don't grow, you become like the dinosaur. Yes, you will grow extinct. And I don't want you growing extinct around here. We want you around for a long time because you're doing good, and we need more of what you're doing in our communities to make our communities stronger and better. Also, your clients, secondly, your clients are worth it. They deserve for you to have your fingers on the pulse and for you to be changing and getting better. In fact, the third reason is really because you're worth it. Yes, you as a grant professional are worth it. And what you do in terms of taking these goals and these visions and these ideas that people have and putting them down on paper and helping them to get funded, you're worth changing. So what I want to encourage you to do is think about your change and growth as a grant professional. So here are 3 things that you can do right now that I believe will help you in that endeavor. First, I'm going to encourage you to get better, number 1, as a writer. Since you're writing a lot, sometimes there is this tendency to think that, hey, I don't have to improve in my writing. I think the opposite is actually true. You should be getting better as a writer. And you can take a variety of classes. The classes do not have to center solely on grant writing. Maybe you say right now, I've taken all the grant writing classes I ever want to take. I understand, my friend. Are there some other writing classes? Are there some storytelling classes? Are there some other classes that may stretch you, help you to grow? Just something to think about. I'm just saying, maybe something worth thinking about. Secondly, you also may want to get a chance to understand funders better. I think you should get a better understanding of funders. There are classes and there are trainings. There's meetups. There are times where you get a chance to meet the funder. Those type of things you should be taking advantage of. Check out and look at some of the trainings that may be going on in your local community that will allow you to have connections, greater connections with funders. Also, you might just simply want to go and interview some yourself. You don't have to, they don't have a meetup group to meet for that. Create something yourself. Create an opportunity to be able to do that. Third, you should be growing with better relationships. We're in the relationship business. I'm not sure if you know this, but grant writing, even though it's writing, you're still in the relationship business because people give to people, and you should be improving in those relationships. That's another way that I really want to encourage you. And third, let's get to the personal, growing as a person and professional. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want to encourage you, my friend, to take 30 minutes. Yes, at least 30 minutes to write down a growth plan for yourself. If you don't have 30 minutes, at least take 20 minutes. But I want you to write down a growth plan for yourself, how you can grow maybe in these areas in the up and coming days. Second, I want you to share that with a friend or another professional, somebody that can hold you accountable. Maybe if you've done this, just let me know. Rodney, I've done it. That may be your simple act of accountability. Rodney, I heard what you said. I did that growth development plan. Third, I want you to review your growth development plan daily. At least weekly, okay? I want you to do this because I want you to make sure that you are growing, okay? Now, I'm almost out of time already. Now, I want you to remember this. This year, I, my friend, am helping at least 10 grant professionals to scale their businesses up to 6 figures. You may be one of them. I don't know. But I want you to know that you can grow your business and you don't have to stay stuck. You can grow. You can get better. And then I want to also make sure that you know, my friend, that we have we have other podcasts that can help you. These are designed to help spark ideas, to help you stay energized as a grant professional, and to know that, hey, there are better ways to do it, and for you to know what those better ways are so that you can continue to grow and develop. Now, let me tell you about a few of those shows. One, we have the Get Funded with Rodney show. If you haven't dialed into that high energy show, go over to grantcentralusa.com, look for our podcast link, and you'll see all of these shows that I'm talking about right here as well. Also, we have the Schools Winning Grants show. Go to schoolswinninggrants.com if you're an educator or seeking educational grants. And then thirdly, trying to grow that business, remember, we have the Grant Business Show at grantbusinessshow.com, designed to help you to grow that business. Remember, while you're over at each of these, to subscribe. I believe they'll help you. They'll help you get better. They'll inspire you. They'll give you new, fresh insight to keep you on the move. And remember, we're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and many, many more. I'm excited about you. I hope that you are excited about being a grant professional. And remember, if there's any way that I can help you, please let me know. Reach out to me. And if we have not already connected on LinkedIn, that's one of the places I hang out quite a bit, or on some of our other social medias, hit me up. Let me know right now. Hey, I'm listening to the show. I'd love to know about you. And remember, if you haven't, inside of LinkedIn, we have a group for grant professionals. And this group is dedicated. There's over 15,000, close to 16,000 now that are in that group. I want to invite you to come and hang out with us. That group is Grant Central USA's Grant Writers Association. Just go over or just type in the group's Grant Writers Association. Come find us. Come hang out. I look forward to seeing you. And until we meet again, my friend, be brave. I want you to be bold. I want you to be brilliant. And remember to always take charge.